Mr. Speaker, I request the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring the vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. Pursuant to Clause 8 and Clause 9 of Rule 20, this 15-minute vote on adoption of the amendment will be followed by 5-minute votes on a motion to commit, if ordered, passage of the bill, if ordered, and the motion to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 4578. This is a 15-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 183, the nays are 233. The amendment is not adopted. The question is on third reading of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Third reading.
An act to implement the use of rapid DNA instruments to inform decisions about pretrial release or detention and their conditions, to solve and prevent violent crimes and other crimes, to exonerate the innocent, and to prevent DNA analysis backlogs, and for other purposes.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Connecticut seek recognition?
I have a motion to recommit at the desk.
Is the gentleman opposed to the bill?
I am opposed to the bill in its current form.
The gentleman qualifies. The clerk will report the motion.
Mr. Himes of Connecticut moves to commit Senate 139 to the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence with instructions to report the same back to the House forthwith with the following amendment. Page 4, line 3, strike predicated. Page 4, line 4, strike opened. Page 6, line 21, insert or after the semicolon. Page 7, line 5, strike semicolon or, and all that follows through line 12 and insert a period. Page 42, strike lines 15 through 19 and redesignate the subsequent paragraphs accordingly.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from Connecticut is recognized for 5 minutes in support of his motion.
Mr. Speaker, members of the Intelligence Committee, of which few of us have an opportunity to serve, lead very odd lives. Every single day, we descend into the bowels of this Capitol, 4 floors down. We surrender our iPhones, we surrender our Blackberries, and we go into windowless rooms where on a daily basis we hear about some of the most grotesque threats to American safety and interests that you can imagine. Threats to American lives, threats to American interests, and threats to our very way of life. We see every day how essential 702 authorities are. The intelligence...
The gentleman is correct. The gentleman will suspend. Gentleman will continue.
Mr. Speaker, the intelligence that we gather under this authority is critical to our safety, our security, and our lives. It saves lives. This program cannot be interrupted, and if it is, God forbid, we will have much to answer for. Even if this motion fails, the base bill, to those of you with substantial civil liberties concerns, and I count myself amongst you, the base bill makes important and meaningful civil liberties improvements over the status quo. I deeply appreciate the efforts of many in this chamber that oppose this bill, the efforts that they have made. Each and every one of us swears an oath to protect and defend the Constitution, and no one should ever be criticized for working hard to make sure that that process is served. Not Mr. Nadler, not Ms. Lofgren, not Mr. Amash, not Mr. Poe. Mr. Speaker, I've spent much of the last several days trying to improve this bill with respect to civil liberties. I presented amendments to the Rules Committee, which were sadly not made in order. But the fact is that these protections exist. There are strict processes and procedures in place at the FBI as to how exactly U.S. person information can be queried and used. On top of that, the entire 702 program is reviewed by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court the P Club, and subject to meaningful congressional oversight by each and every one of us. To authorize this program each year, a federal judge must find that it has met all statutory requirements and is consistent with the Fourth Amendment. Mr. Speaker, 3 district courts and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals have deemed this program constitutional. But, Mr. Speaker, no bill is perfect. And so the motion I offer would encompass all FBI matters, not just predicated investigations, but all FBI matters not related to national security, and require court orders founded on probable cause before the FBI could access U.S. person information under 702. My colleagues, this is a critical national security asset. It is as important as our best operator, as our best technology, as our most powerful weapons. And I appreciate the efforts that have been made to secure our civil liberties. This motion to recommit pushes this bill slightly in that direction, building on the meaningful improvements to the status quo, and I urge its passage. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
Time in opposition, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I'll just be really brief today. But I want to thank all of my colleagues. There are a lot of strong opinions on both sides of the aisle on this issue. And we have taken many steps at the House Intelligence Committee to take members out to the agencies that are doing this work. We've offered time for members to come down to the SCIF to read all the information. Because at the end of the day, we all take the American people's constitutional liberties seriously. And I think the robust debate that's occurred in this House over the last year on this issue through many markups, through many committees, and then even today on the floor here in the House of Representatives. It's been a tough fight because it's a tough issue. But in closing, this really is a compromise. We worked with the House Judiciary Committee for many, many months, and I can't thank Chairman Goodlatte enough for all of his very, very difficult work in trying to find a compromise. At the same time, in the House Intelligence Committee, we've worked to come to a compromise with the Democrats on the other side of the aisle. So, with all of that said, this is one of those days, if we get this bill passed, I think we can walk out of here proud that we all stood our ground for stances that we really believe in. But at the end of the day, the House is going to work its will in a bipartisan manner. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields. Without objection, the previous question is ordered on the motion to commit. The question is on the motion. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The noes have it. The motion is not agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, I ask for a recorded vote.
Recorded vote is requested. Those favoring a recorded vote will rise. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote. Let's vote. The yeas are 189, the nays are 227. The motion is not adopted. The question is now on the passage of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is passed. And for what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
On that, I ask for the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring the vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.